Hello, post-university esports fans. We're in JuggleGod Hammond here on the mic tonight with Multi-Cal. Got an exciting one for you. Going to be post-university taking on Clark here at the NECC. This is week number 5. Multi-Cal, how are you tonight? Looking forward to this one?
I am pretty much chilling today. It's another day. It's another Lijiang Tower. This feels like a staple of post-verse at this point. I feel like we can never get away from this map no matter what.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think you can. But yeah, we are going to be starting out here on Lijiang Tower. Post-university, we are only going to be speccing this time around post-university. The other team has asked us to do just that, so we want to respect it. So here we are going to start things out, of course, with what you always see from Post University. That's going to be a nice TP on some point. Interesting seeing the Diva choice here coming out for Clark University, but we've got a trade. One more now to Clark. Post University getting picked off slowly, but Jojo trying to keep everybody up, doing the best they can. Not going to have an exit pick this time around. Point goes over to Clark.
Oh my gosh, this is a team that knows what they're doing. We're going to see, the Diva is definitely really strong here, and I feel like for Clark University, they're going to want to like push into Post University's defensive if they're going to want to take the point, which is exactly what we saw there. Krystal is looking like they're going to teleport into the back to probably break that defense.
Yeah, love to see that TP. In fact, it's able to swap them completely over, which is fantastic. They're going to have control of the point now, so now Post University, right, they just want to play this out kind of as long as they can. Immortality Field comes out. It's not going to be quite enough to save a couple of them. PapaGepetto looks to get a little bit of damage in on the tank, but the defense matrix coming out from Diva is far too much for them, so back to spawn Post University goes. But hey, now they've got 20% versus Clark's 20, actually, I suppose.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I wonder if we're going to see another teleport on a different area here, whether it's on main or on the room onto the right-hand side here. It's going to really depend. Clark University kind of wants to play the poke game at this point, wait for Post University to get into position, and then strike. The Post University wants to be aware of whether Clark University is setting up or whether giving them space is a good thing or a bad thing in this case.
Right, exactly. It's a little tough to tell, but, you know, with... Yeah, no, they're definitely pushing it pretty aggressively, kind of like what you're talking about. They've already got, yeah, here comes the Consuming Rush through one of the loops from Juno. PapaGepetto is backed out. Big amplification matrix, though. That could cause some problems. We see Diva diving back in there again. One of the players on Clark goes very low, but they're not going to be taken out. Juno is low as well. PapaGepetto doing everything they can to keep this alive, but 65% on the board now for Clark University.
We might actually be seeing Final Fight territory if we group if we're going to see, yeah, it's going to look like Final Fight territory at this point. Yeah, we're going to look for another TP onto point. Hopefully we're going to see that similar defense Post University usually does here.
Yeah, and I think with that TP, this could be potentially not Final Fight. Well, with the flip, it definitely is. As Valen Lord goes down. I don't think Diva was quite back to point yet either, right?
Yeah.
Diva threw herself off the map, which was, it was great that, you know, Post University got them out of the mech, because I think that really helped Clark flip, or Post University flip this point.
We're going to see the Orbital Ray pop out. Clark University is going to make a big offense here at this point.
PapaGepetto once again trying to keep the tank at bay, but a big Terra Surge is going to make something happen here. They do take out friendly Dom, so no heals coming out from them. PapaGepetto loses track of Sojourn for a split second, but they're able to find them once again. But what a big play coming out of the Venture player as well to get rid of her. But now, definitely in Final Fight territory. This might be kind of a scuffed fight.
Oh, I agree. We did see a few go down there, like the Juno at this point. Honestly, if Post University can get back enough, we might see a 4v5, or if Clark University is fast enough, it could be 5v5. Oh!
Poor Mydudesa falls into the water. Here comes a Deadeye as well. Hunter is able to find one with the self-destruct too, which is unusual. PapaGepetto trying to stay alive, get enough health to swing that hammer, but it's not gonna be the case this time around. So we will head to our second sub-map here on Lijiang.
Oh my gosh, that I don't know if Venture's ultimate is called. I'm blanking on it, but it's so strong. It's
So
such a good
strong.
it's such a good ability to have in the back pocket, especially on maps like these where they're so wide, they're so easy to just catch them off guard, and it
Yeah.
feels like something that we're gonna see probably throughout the night at this point. I'm not sure what maps we might see, but I can't imagine we're gonna see a lot of Venture here. We're gonna see the switch from Krystal going from Symmetra to Torbjorn at this point. Other switches, we're gonna see a May come out, probably more of a Brawl-esque comp, I would say,
Yeah, it
going into the dive.
definitely very much looks like that, and I think in addition, something that can really hunker down on point, right? We're gonna get the TP out. Be curious to see whether or not we get the swap off of the sim. No, Krystal looks like they're gonna stay on it, which is a fine choice. I think you can kind of go either way, just depending on how you like to play. Little fire strikes go through. Not a whole lot got from it, but ooh, big closing of the distance. Oh my gosh, Venture is so low. Can the rest of Post University follow up on them? Not this time around. In fact, Jojo and Krystal have both on. That's going to be a nice wall, though, on the Hunter. Hunter having a hard time keeping their life up, as two other players have dropped for Clark University.
Mydudesa is gonna find the Sojourn here at this point, and the Juno.
That's actually pretty big.
Honestly, if Post University can take, it's gonna be a 4v5 at this point with the Venture and the Orisa on point. Oh, I wonder what we're gonna see here.
Yeah, it looks like Clark University is kind of content to at least give some space. Maybe not the entire point right here, but Hunter is already down pretty low as they're still waiting for part of their team to get back here. In the meantime, PapaGepetto has moved up to this high ground and is trying to hold on to it while the rest of the team brawls on point. Gonna drop back down though. Might be a Terror Surge coming in here. That was a pretty aggressive move coming out from the enemy Orisa, but the hammer swings through them. The Battle Cattle is down. And once again, Mydudesa chasing with the attack. Moira gets the Coalescence out as well. They're gonna be able to get the point flip too, trying to keep their team up. Trying to take out that Venture.
That Venture's slippery one. I would not be surprised if we still saw a few DPS ults in the next fight, whether it's from Clark University or from Post University. I feel like we're definitely going to see one or two come out this next fight.
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, Moridin is already 90% to their Blizzard, and that's such a big fight winning ultimate. They're gonna have to make sure now's good because the shield spin, the javelin spin is gone. But with one player down, they might want to just regroup here.
You know, they did have to pop Terror Surge and the Venture ult as well. That is 2 ults now for Clark University. Post University, if I remember correctly, I don't think we popped any at this point. Honestly,
just a
I feel like just a Coalescence. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. We still have Blizzard online though. It is that we're probably going to see something like this in this next fight here if we can get through this little doorway here. It's a little difficult to get through.
Yeah, no, it looks like we're going to see a rotate kind of around. PapaGepetto goes kind of halfway through the main and that, but I love this kind of flip of the script right here. There we go. A couple of big ults coming in. Might have to watch Venture in the backline, though. Could be coming out with one of their own. It's going to be trade for trade here. Post University up 1, actually, but everybody's very low. But the point has been taken by Post University. Fantastic play. Now, as long as Jojo can keep Krystal up, able to take out one of the players, but what a huge play coming out from Valen. But Krystal is still holding on for dear life and has forced the other team to practically run away completely, but this Venture is there's so much pressure put on by a good Venture.
Oh my gosh, Venture, especially into this team comp, she just goes right into it. She can just ignore all damage, and we might just see more of this month next fight. But Dudes is actually going to take out the Venture here, and we're going to see the Earthshatter come out, interrupted by the Orisa.
What a great follow-up coming out from Krystal on the Earthshatter as well. Post University holds on, 65% on the board right now, but I have a feeling Clark University has been holding ults and stocking.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Krystal has been holding down the point for so long. I feel like once an ult comes out from, honestly, we could probably see a Kitsune Rush or a Venture ult at this point. It's going to be big. I feel it.
Yeah, I think the Venture ult is almost certainly coming in. Yeah, here comes the Kitsune Rush. Oh, yeah, there's the Venture ultimate as well. What a spear coming out from Hunter. Moridin tries to get something going on the May. Jojo now flanking to see if they can keep PapaGepetto alive. So Post University can win one more fight. This is great. As long as PapaGepetto and Jojo are able to stay alive, they can probably push back in, but it's going to be tough now. Jojo needs that Mega. They're not able to get it. Mydudesa now trying to throw in as much heals as they can. And yes, they're able to make it onto a point. Balin's Lord very low, finished off by PapaGepetto now. Are they going to be able to take down Hunter? Big Suzu is gone right now, so Post University can push, but PapaGepetto needs a lot of help at the moment. That's going to be a nice healing orb coming out from the back line. Point almost flipped over, 99%. Smitty is down. Big wall coming out. Hunter is going to get some decent damage in. Here comes the orbital ray now from Clark University. They're turning it at the last second. Post University almost had it.
What a tight second point.
Right? Very, very tight. I think Clark Post University figured out a lot there at the end of that one.
We're gonna see here. Oh, it's this Diva bomb earlier. Oh no, it's the push from earlier. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then the self-destruct. That was the same play, wasn't it? Yeah, it really was. But yeah, Post University, hard fought, and something we hadn't had a chance to talk about yet is Clark University always one of the strongest schools, I think, at the NECC or any kind of the collegiate leagues that they compete in. And so they're sitting at a 4-0 record right now. So coming into this, definitely knew this was going to be a tough one for Post, but I love that they really went toe-to-toe on Control Center. That, I think, bodes very well for the rest of this match. And I think an upset could absolutely be in the cards for today. It hasn't been. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it is, and apologies, I had you muted right there, but I've got you now. So.
No, it's
People
okay.
are just going to hear me agreeing to silence for a few seconds. It's like, good point. But yeah, I do think this bodes very well for the future rounds, future maps that we're going to see.
I believe we're gonna see Post University pick the next map, if I'm not wrong. I believe so.
I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's the way NECC works. Yeah. They all have small, slight differences. It's tough to keep track of. But yeah, I do believe they're going to have pick, but I think the mode is chosen. I think it will be going to hybrid next. So, and if that's the case, I think as long as Clark doesn't ban King's Row, that is where we'll be headed. Especially because PapaGepetto is really kind of favoring the Reinhardt today.
Yeah,
PapaGepetto's... Oh, okay, so they do pick the map type, so they did pick Escort. Okay. So we will not be seeing King's Row. They're going for a little bit different feel here, with the straight
I will
up
say
Escort.
I feel like Post University has been able to take the point, or at least like get the objective. I do worry that Clark University is kind of purposefully like kind of pulling back a little bit and just like, okay, let's let him get into position and then we're gonna strike when we feel ready. And I feel like if Post University can recognize just like, okay, they're giving us space, they're giving us place, let's not use our most important cooldowns as we approach. I feel like they could have this in the bag.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think you're absolutely right. Like Clark is playing very measured. And that's, we saw it on Control Center, right? We saw Clark basically just give up the point, right?
Yeah.
They recognized that they were down, and that it was just going to be better for them to fall back, regroup, and then come back in. But, like you said, Post University held on to that thing very, very well. Almost took it back in the end, too. So I think that might also be just a wake-up call for Clark as well. Right, that like, okay, no, we can't just back up and give them things.
I agree. I feel like I really like. Sorry, I was I really like Clark University's like soft resets. They're like, you know,
Yes.
their ability to just say, okay, guys, this is we're going into a 3v5. We should back up, wait for our tank or wait for healers to come back, and then we take a more favorable matchup for them.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely I feel like this has set the expectation for what the night is going to look like.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I think. Ooh. Okay. We're going to Rialto, which I think we've seen Post University do before. I think I've seen them call for Rialto. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because I think maybe even one of the last times you and I were casting together, they picked Rialto, and we were talking about like, okay, like it's interesting because there's high ground here,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
Because the
Okay,
other team I
okay.
think had like a diva or something, right?
My memory is coming back, and there was a
Yeah.
Widowmaker that was like
Yes.
holding
Yes.
down this certain
Yes.
space. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember now.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
that. It was that match. Yeah. 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 So we know this is one that Post University is very practiced on too, right? I mean,
Hmm.
assuming they're not just gonna break out a map that they've never done before, but
Oh,
you know,
I hope
clearly,
not. Yeah.
clearly Rialto
Yeah.
one of their favorites.
Hmm.
And so I think that's good. That's gonna be interesting to see. Um, so there's no what's interesting too, right? Is if I'm looking at Clark right now, nobody is standing out to me, right? As a huge problem that needs to be mitigated. This
Hmm.
is a team that just seems to play very well together and very strong together, right?
The
This is
synergy
the
is like
cohesiveness.
there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so I think for Post University, this becomes maybe a better pick than it was in that the last time we saw them, because I haven't seen someone where I'm like, oh, I'm terrified of their hit scan, right?
Yeah.
That might come out here. This is the time it would, right? But we haven't seen
But
it
it
yet, so I think
feels
this is a good pick.
it feels like instead of just like you said, one player, it's like a big mold. This is a
Yeah.
team. This is a
Yes.
team. It's not just one person. It's of course, Overwatch team-based game,
Yeah.
objective-based game, yada yada. But yeah, no, this I feel like is a perfect definition of this is a team, and we know how we play, and we're gonna make these plays together.
Exactly, exactly. And honestly, I feel like Post is like that as well.
Hmm.
Like, and this is not to say anything bad about any of the players, but like, I think everybody contributes very equally to the matches that Post University
Hmm.
has, right? And I love seeing that, because you don't really want to put everything all on one player's back, because that can
Yeah.
become problematic, right? As you climb higher and higher, in your Overwatch gaming, right? Like at some point, you can't just rely on other people. And Post University, I think, does a great job of, playing as a team, playing as a unit.
We're gonna see the early defense, on the Orisa, the Reaper, Torbjorn. It's definitely gonna be a very poke-heavy comp. I would imagine Moridin on the Reaper is probably gonna look for a TP here, maybe just get some early damage in whether it's the front line or the back line. We're gonna see the Venture come out again, and the Diva. Ooh,
Krystal.
what a little what a kill for Krystal there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Krystal, that I turned away right as you got that headshot. But look at this. What a fantastic... Look at this pressure coming out. And they've got the D-Mech already onto the Diva. Moridin is going to be forced out, so they might get re-mech'd. Valenlord is way into the backline now, having already taken out Juno. That's going to be the next support volley. So despite that early Widow going down, that headshot from Krystal, Clark University is going to be able to push forward here.
We are going to see probably one of the next fights. PapaGepetto is going to switch over to Diva instead of the Orisa here, probably to match the Diva out here. Venture is going to go over to the high ground. We're probably going to see some sort of mini flank here from the Venture.
Yeah, here we go. This is definitely a big reason PapaGepetto is on the Diva, is to get that Widow out of the equation. But backline or DPS have been traded, right? Now, PapaGepetto trying to keep the Diva at bay, seeing if they can force out all of these resources. That's going to be a nice push coming out from the Venture as well. But the point is still alive. Has not clicked over just yet. Players are going to have to duck into. But what a big double self-destruct kill right there. PapaGepetto doing a great job just kind of ducking and dodging around, but that will be the point.
What an absolutely great take by Clark University there. It was just at that point it was just a fight of attrition of whoever is just going to be left standing, and Clark University was the one to take it all the way home, especially with that Diva bomb coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
No major switch from Post University yet. We are seeing probably 4 ults come out at this point. Mydudesa being the closest to Orbital Ray. I honestly would not be surprised if we saw an engagement here with Orbital Ray, whether it's DPS ult or anything of the like.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice push out here. Very, very impressive. And yeah, here comes the Orbital Ray now. That's definitely going to cause some problems for that Diva. But the field has been pretty split. Both teams had the same idea with their Orbital Rays. Krystal's going to fall first. Now Mydudesa trying to clear that high ground, but unable to. And in the meantime, the card is just getting pushed now by Clark University. So, up to PapaGepetto to try and stay on as long as they can. Give a little bit of their defense matrix over to Moridin, but they're going to be forced out looking for the self-destruct. Does not find anything. Post going to get another defense, though.
It's so difficult with the Diva, especially into a venture, because you don't really have much in terms of defensive capabilities to be pushed around. Oh, we're going to see an early pick from the Widowmaker here.
Yeah, you know how I said like there wasn't a hit scan we needed to be worried about? Looks like there might be, turns out. But honestly, I feel like it's just been kind of consistent pressure. I haven't seen them running the lobby yet on the Widowmaker.
I love seeing this like back and forth, or like this kind of like tossing of Clark University. Whether it's like, okay, Venture, it's your turn to cause mayhem. Widowmaker, it's your turn to cause mayhem. Diva, it's your turn to cause mayhem. And we love seeing this cycling from Clark University here. Post University, we're gonna see them go onto the 3rd point now. It's gonna be very tight. 4 minutes left on the clock. They want to stop them now in their tracks before they have a really big lead in overtime.
And I think we want to see the Kitsune Rush coming out as soon as we can as well. Ooh, that's a lot of damage into the tank, but Hunter's going to be able to stay up, stay alive. 2 players down for Post University. Make that 3. PapaGepetto trying to stay alive on point, but it's going to be defect as well. Not going to be long for this world. Is anybody from Post University going to be able to touch? We've got the Ash and the Reaper coming out of the side. Reaper needs to raid form, I think, to try and get the point to touch. Oh, Valen doing a great job of keeping Post University at bay. Kitsune Rush, but that's going to be a blistering 3:42 on the clock for Clark.
Oh my gosh, what an absolutely fantastic lead for Clark University here. Post, they're going to want to follow up hard here if they're going to want to keep up with this next round.
Yeah, I think there's going to need to be some changes made. I think one of the things is I'm not convinced about the Diva pick right now, because I think that came out as kind of a response to Ghost Frag on the Widowmaker. But again, I'm just not feeling like that pressure from the Widowmaker is that oppressive at the moment. So I wonder if maybe something like a Lucio pick with a Zarya to try and counter the Diva might be a better choice here, because then the Lucio can, harass the Widow. Zarya holds the front line and just causes problems. And yeah, look at that. PapaGepetto immediately onto Zarya. Love it. Love it.
And Krystal switches over to Symmetra. They are tired of that Diva. She is long for this world at this point.
Oh gosh,
we love seeing some good old Counterwatch here.
Yes, we are. Yeah, because honestly, now that I think about it, maybe that has been the biggest problem for Post University is the tank, the front line, right? Look, hasn't died once yet.
No, no, it's definitely clear now they put the scoreboard up. It's difficult because it's like you try to put pressure on the front line, then the back line starts getting more pressure, and then it's just a big back and forth of, okay, so what's more important? Do we try to focus the front line or their back line more? And I feel like this is what we're going to see more out of Post University, trying to go into that front line more.
Yeah, I think so. And also look to close the distance as well. That's the other good thing about Sim here, right? Is you can stay out of these sight lines and Ghost Frag, which already causing problems. Yeah, that's going to be a TP bomb. But gets taken out pretty quickly. Valen already causing problems. So, yeah, now we see just everybody just out on the point. Post University goes back to spawn.
We did see oh my god, the 4K from Valen here is absolutely amazing here.
So now I think we're starting to see a carry a little bit. Valen is a problem.
We did see the TP over there. I don't think we saw a full commit completely from Post University, whether they want to take it or not, or if they want to stay out in this open area here. It's going to be difficult unless they make a decision on where to go.
Yeah, no, they try for it again, but it looks like it didn't work out well, and Clark is definitely very prepared for it. I also think that very first TP that we saw coming out from Post, that was an attempt at a TP bomb, but they dropped the portal before the turrets. Yeah, and so like only 1 or 2 got through. But I don't think they're going to be able to like TP directly onto that high ground. It might make more sense to just TP underneath.
We're going to see the switch from Krystal going from the Symmetra to the Torbjorn now. Probably looking for a more poke comp at this point, I believe so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's going to be a lot of back and forth, I believe, on this first point, because you can't stay in that open area for too long, because either Valen or the Widowmaker is going to take advantage.
Yeah, and there we go, right on cue. Ghostcrack finds one. Jojo gets pushed away pretty aggressively. We've got the swap now onto the Orisa. PapaGepetto has kind of flipped the script on him a little bit and is now getting a little bit of card proc, which is very good. You really wanted, Post University really needed to like get out of that Widowmaker site.
Ooh, we're gonna see that. We're gonna see a kill from Mydudesa on Valen Lord here, but Moridin is gonna go down. It's gonna be a pretty soft reset from Post University if they want to stand a chance to push this cart further.
Yeah, and with Ghostcrack having their sights up as well, this is gonna prove pretty difficult to kind of push in on.
I agree. I mean, on the bright side, the cart is pushed up quite a bit into that, like, past this little, like, choke here.
Yeah.
If Post University can find, like, either that high ground or either, like, just a way around, like, that big sightline Widowmaker can take advantage of, it could be really good for them.
Ooh. Yeah, Valen causing some problems for Mydudesa once again. Moridin has to drop off of the high ground, but a lot of progress has been made. Hunter goes very low. Might be able to get them out of their back. In fact, they're able to, but that's going to be another an orbital ray coming out. The Remac almost gets PapaGepetto, but able to use the Fortify. It's not going to be enough, though, to stay alive. Minute left on the clock here, Multical.
We did see a bit of cart progress here. At this point,
yeah.
we'd have to do like either a soft or a hard reset. It's gonna be, I would even argue, final fight territory for Post University.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right.
We're probably gonna see a few ults here. We did see 2 come out from Clark University here. It's gonna be a battle of how do we use it the most wisely.
Yeah, and I mean, Post University, their backs are against the wall, so if you gotta use 5 ults, you gotta use 5 ults here. Hunter's already taken one out. PapaGepetto tries to chase Valen, but they're just digging underneath. That's a big ultimate, but nobody caught in it, so PapaGepetto just gonna let it fly. 16 seconds on the clock. Can they touch?
Mydudesa is going to go down. I'm not sure if we're going to see anybody be able to touch and survive when they get out of point, and Sights is popped.
Yeah, with Sights, that makes it very difficult, but we do get the TP to point. Moridin tries to get something going there. We got PapaGepetto on the ball now. Looking to stay alive, looking to just harass and be a presence on point. He's forced to just roll around and stay in this ball for him so they don't take the headshot, but unfortunately not going to be able to stay up long enough. Jojo tries to get to the point. So that will be Clark, making it 0-2.
Unlike Lijiang Tower, like, you know, it was very back and forth. It was very, like, you know, the numbers were getting closer. Clark University, they had Rialto in the bag and knew exactly what they want to do with it. Valen Lord getting play of the game here. I feel like, oh, yep, it is this right here.
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely fantastic coming out of Valen Lord here on the venture.
Yeah.
This venture, so I could feel PapaGepetto or just any of their Post University's team members just having such a rough time with the venture.
Yeah, very rough time. Valen is very talented on the venture. That is for sure. And honestly, I think again, you know, going back to kind of like we're seeing everybody contribute, but I do think that we're now seeing Valen be enabled, right, by Clark, and as well Hunter. I think Hunter on the front line is making it very difficult for Post University to get set up. Honestly, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Hunter is almost playing like a more disruptive style of Devo play, which is interesting, not something I think you typically see.
I feel like in this case, since it's like we have the venture, we have the like frontline presence. I feel like that's something you want to do if you want to get kills quick, fast, and then right back onto point where you just get the objective. It's been working out really well for Clark Steele, and Post Diversity has to recognize that. Of well, hey guys, what's the plan here? Do we
Right.
let them like kind of come to the front line? Do we take the poke damage, or do we just brawl them outright?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's so many different questions, right? So many different ways you could go, and I think it's tough to pick a direction. I think right now as well, but I think something
Yeah.
different does need to be tried.
Because we saw the immediate response to Hunter on the Diva, if I'm not wrong. We saw the
Yeah.
Zarya, we saw the Symmetra, pure beams just to do damage outright. But then when we tried rolling out with that, then we saw a whole lot of poke damage as they try to put the teleporter on, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it sucks to try to like approach that when it's like, ooh, we're taking too much damage. We can't even
Mm-hmm.
fight like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's like where do you the different ways that you engage, I think, are very very important with these compositions, right? And that's what I think
Hmm.
kind of you were highlighting there, um, and if you know the map type well, or rather, if you know the map well, you know your strengths well, and you're able to put together composition that just makes it hard for another team to get to the ideal positioning for them, then you're going to
Hmm.
do very, very well. I mean, Overwatch is definitely a game of, yes, you need to, you need to click heads, you need to have aim, right? But it's a
Yeah.
very, uh, there's a lot of thought that goes into where and how you set up and how you execute with different team compositions based on the map, based on what you're going up against. There's so much to consider, but I think that is at the heart of a lot of success that you see in very successful teams.
I feel like Overwatch is one of those games where there's like no one definite answer.
Hmm.
And honestly, a lot of things could work. I think the question is just, okay, how do we make this work? How do we push with the Orisa?
Right,
How do we
right.
push with the anything else? It's
Yes.
we
And like, what are the things that you use to close that, or how what are you willing to spend in order to get where you need to be, right?
yeah.
As well, because it's like, yeah, you can close the distance in certain ways, right? But if you spend all of your resources to do that, then that's still
Hmm.
problematic, right? So there's so much that goes into it.
It's also quite like I know there's a stigma around like the rock paper scissors type of like dive, like dive goes into poke, and then poke goes into brawl, yada yada. But honestly, it's not really true. Honestly, if the team can have enough synergy, like we see Clark University having right now, and the team like knows what they are doing, we can see an easy stomp, no matter what type of
Yes,
team comp it's
yes,
what either team comp.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's and that I think comes into then you kind of get into um, a question of like, oh, uh, how well do you know your hero, right?
Mm.
Like, is it more important for you to have like a wide variety of heroes you can play, or just a handful that you know kind of in and out, so you know what is the appropriate way to get what you want?
Mm. We're gonna go to Esperanza. Clark Steele mentioning the blue, a blue tech strat here. I'm very curious to see what this blue tech strat is.
I feel
I'm
like that's
very invested now.
yeah, same. I think it's a joke. Stream can't see it at the moment, but yeah, like literally, Clark is saying they want blue. Our coach wants us on blue side. I promise
You
it's
know,
not to
I
mess with you. Blue specific tech. Yeah, no, they're just having, they're just being ridiculous.
I saw actually speaking of that, I saw this very interesting video where it talked about the specific like spawn positionings of like every single like map, whether it's blue
Yeah,
side or red side control point. And apparently they found that like there was like 1 or 2 second differences depending on whether you're on blue side or red side. and it would cause you to go back to point quicker compared to if you were on the other side.
Yeah. I know that, like, as a ball main, what is it? Oasis Lighthouse always irritates me because that one is very asymmetric. And
yeah.
there's like one or two things that I just hit coming out of spawn if I'm on the wrong side. And
Yeah.
it's terrible and I hate it. And I find it weird that Overwatch did that they made that choice. That just seems odd to me. But it is what it is. And sometimes it's useful to know those things. So
Yeah, like I feel like you don't notice it until you start putting it into question. Like honestly, like I feel like me personally, I prefer the blue side over the red side. It just feels right. It just feels right. And when I'm on red side, my brain shuts off for a second. Like, oh, I'm on the opposite side. I gotta quickly adjust. Okay, I'm good. It's not as prominent when you're on escort or hybrid maps when it's a clear offense defense sort of situation. But well, we're going to see the Sojourn come out here with the Reinhardt and Krystal back onto the Symmetra here. I would have to wonder if this is specifically supposed to take certain areas on the map in order to deal with Clark University's supposed blue tech strat.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right now... Ooh, this is interesting. Yeah, Post University getting here a little bit later than Clark, it appears. Oh, and already Mydudesa going down low. What a phenomenal follow from Hunter. That's going to be my Moridin falling as well. PapaGepetto trying to get something, but yeah, this one's over.
It's very tricky. As I play a lot of Social, and taking that high ground is really valuable. Oh, we're gonna see at least one kill PapaGepetto before he goes down, but the fight is already over at this point. Taking that high ground as Sojourn, it's very difficult, and it's honestly what all DPS want to take, that little high ground Esperanza. It's so powerful, but if you're alone, you will fall pretty quickly.
Yeah, you really will, and I think that's kind of what we saw there, and just maybe the positioning could have been a little tighter from Post University, especially knowing that Hunter is coming out on the D.Va most likely. Krystal taking quite a bit of damage, going to be forced to back down, but right now Post University has a little bit more staying power on point, so they're going to be able to move the bot some. But I think as soon as we see this bridge kind of come into play, that is where Clark is going to try and set up here to cause some problems for Post.
We're going to see both DPS go back onto the high ground here. I don't think we have any ults ready yet, but we are going to see a lot of build up to it.
Yeah, we certainly are. PapaGepetto still alive. Moridin doing a good job keeping them up, but eventually going to fall. So, Post University got a decent amount of progress, though, on the card.
Clark University, with those soft and hard resets, they know when to back up, and they're not in a favorable position here. I believe we're probably looking at a few ults here, most likely off the DPS, and I would argue even the supports at this point to defend Clark University from Post University. Yeah.
Post University might also want to just let them... I don't know, I think they're going to be able to contest as long as there's not too many people up on this diagram, but ooh, a lot of damage coming in from the D.Va. Post University, yeah, just going to let them have this point, which is fine because it's going to stop here for a moment, so it's going to let Post have a little time to just keep this point static. But PapaGepetto goes down, the board wasn't there, unfortunately, and Jojo falls as well, so Clark is going to be able to keep moving this bot.
We're going to see the full reset here. Off of Post University at this point. Oh, I honestly, if we don't stop Clark University in their tracks now, I would have to say maybe Clark University could be able to push this all the way at this point.
Yeah, and Post University, they can't afford another loss here today, otherwise this series is over. Here comes an ultimate. Kind of coming out from Mydudesa. Are they going to be able to find anything with it? Jojo does go down. Unfortunately, that's going to be a DPS and a support. Becomes a consuming rush now from Clark, and that's going to push him over the 100-meter mark.
We talked about this before, but that 100-meter mark, it's hard for another team to come back when they push at that point. PapaGepetto is going to pop the Earth Shatter. We're going to see the Coalesce at this point. Everything's going to pop out. The Orbital Ray. Oh my god, this
is good.
There's a whole lot here.
Kiva's been demeched at this point. Moridin gets some nice damage in as well with their alternate fire. So, great fight win here from Post University. Very much needed. Should be able to get that that forward spawn.
I feel like Diva was holding back a little bit there. I feel like they had the bomb there, but they decided to say, hey, maybe no more ults here. We'll save for the next fight if they didn't already pop it.
Yeah.
Right? I believe so. Oh, the surprise venture from the backline.
He's got an ult. He's definitely got an ult right here. He's going to pop up to that high ground, actually, causes some disruption, and that really made Post University scatter because they are definitely respecting Valen, but they might have given them too much respect here. Self-destruct coming out as well. PapaGepetto going to be able to keep that damage at bay. That's going to be a nice TP over kind of to the back line here. Can PapaGepetto do something with it? Tries to pin the Diva, but isn't going to be able to find them. That charge notoriously difficult to hit.
Valen on that back line. Oh my gosh. It is very scary here. We are going to see, we did see something come out there. We did see the wall from the Krystal come out there. It's going to be a very difficult fight from this point because honestly, if Post University, like I said, can stop them now, I feel like we're going to see Clark University take even more distance. Moridin is going to pop the orbital right here.
Ooh, that's going to be nice, especially with PapaGepetto going so far in. And that means Moridin doesn't have to keep track of them. They can be checking that backline, which is exactly what we are seeing right now. And kudos to them as well. Valen is not pushing that. I think Valen's recognizing what's going on, but PapaGepetto is now pretty far forward. And here comes the ultimate now from Valen. Great job biding their time and kind of flipping the script here. Post University had that fight won.
This is definitely gonna be a reset from for Post University at this point. We're gonna see the switch over to the Torbjorn instead of the Symmetra at this point. They are gonna want to hold down this alley here as much as they can to keep Clark University off as much as possible.
Yeah, they really are, but ooh, Krystal already down. Mydudesa trying to get something done. That's going to be a nice DMEC there, but it is going to be a self-destruct. They're going to be able to get back into it. Jojo goes down. That's unfortunate for Post University because now there's not a whole lot stopping him. Valen goes low. Are they going to be able to get something with this Deadeye right here? They're ducking and dodging. Not going to be in there. Valen finds one. Post University trying to get back to point. Not going to be able to do it. And what a powerhouse Clark truly is. The Post University put up a great fight, but Clark is just a phenomenal team.
I have to agree. They knew their honest. I feel like Clark University just kind of knew their give and take power. We're gonna see. Oh, we're gonna see Diva play the game here.
I think it's the double kill with the Diva power. Oh no, it's not.
Oh no, it's not. No, this is just pure. This is pure damage coming out.
yes, it was.
but Clark University, absolutely fantastic give or take here. It's like, you know, they know how much distance they can go. They know how much power they have in a moment, and they know when to retreat or group up to take fights, whether or not it works out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me again today, Multikill. I understand you've got a scrim starting soon, so good luck in that.
Thank you.
A tough loss tonight for Post, but there's still plenty more of the season to go. So I can't wait to see how they bounce back from this one. Start putting those W's in that column again. But for now, we're gonna say goodnight. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, everybody. GG's, and see you next time.
GG's all.